What's good? We back with the Boxing Clinic. More your boy CJ Goodfella back on the boxing grind. I was gonna make this a live video, but a little bit wore out from work. Definitely have some good news on the horizon for myself and for the channel as well. So y'all keep an eye out on that. But we back speaking of real trill boxing talk. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. I definitely would appreciate it. Hit the bell icon when you know we dropping that funky trill boxing talk. So you know what it is, man. We about to jump right in this thing. And, yeah, apparently Anthony Joshua got his options down to 3 fighters. Mandatory, which is Alexander Povetkin, who may be lined up for two of the mandatory belts. He got WBO and WBA. Jarrell Miller, and Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. We're going to get into depth about all 3 as potential matches for Anthony Joshua. A little bit more into the other 2 other than Wilder, because we talked about Wilder for so long. I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody know the stance on me for Wilder and Joshua, but we can start off there. I think, you know, obviously Joshua don't want to fight the man right now. I mean, he got the world in his hand. I mean, he making $20 million a fight allegedly. So I mean, Wilder apparently ain't gonna bring that much money. He offered him $50 million. It was accepted or don't accept it. Obviously, Eddie Hearn said he countered the offer. So there's just too much cat and mouse going on, man. I don't know if they in cahoots together to make this fight bigger and go back and forth and just keep it in people's mouth and just keep it in rotation. And then after a while, they trying to build it up like a Pacquiao fight and a Mayweather fight. So it potentially can be built. It could potentially do a lot of good things, but you know, boxing fans tired of waiting around until fights, you know, reach their expiration date or come close to expiration date. We want these fights while these guys are both seeming invincible. They both on their high. They both can beat good opponents. Vladimir Klitschko, Luis Ortiz. You know, a lot of guys want it now, but you know, apparently that ain't gonna how it happened. You know, but it is what it is. And you know, Povetkin is the mandatory, and I think at least one of those belts, and he's close to being both of the mandatories for WBO and WBA. He said he wanted a shot. Obviously, his team sent the offer to Joshua to fight in the soccer stadium over there in Moscow or Russia somewhere. I don't see Joshua going over there. Probably going to keep it in the comforts of the UK. Probably Wembley, O2 or something like that. Whatever he wants to do. But, you know, I think Povetkin, I told people Povetkin going to be the guy. He's a mandatory in 2 belts. You can knock out 2 mandatories, get out the way. I think Povetkin has a second best shot at beating Joshua, in my opinion. Out of the bunch, I think Deontay has the best shot. Even off the, you know, Macedonian and the Austrian, whatever he was taking. You know, a lot of people say he looked weak before he fought David Price, and then he unveiled some power versus David Price. But David Price has the chin of a toddler. So it's kind of tough to gauge what Povetkin is at 36 years old and off the performance-enhancing drugs that he was taking. He's a tough character. I know he's going to really push and try to really knock AJ's block off. But, you know, it depends. You know, if they're going to do random vital testing or not. You know, the Russians are far advanced in doping. You know, that's why they got banned from the Olympics. You know, that whole Eastern European culture, you know, seems to be, you know, based on doping and have a lot of doping, you know, history, especially in amateur sports. And doping is prominent everywhere. I'm not going to just put it on them, but they are the innovators, or at least they take it to the next level, and they very, very ahead of the curve on doping, you know. And look at Povetkin in this shot. He got titties and shit. But I think he get a better run to his money than Miller. I mean, I think they all can give Joshua a run for their money, and I'll explain that at the end of the video. But, yeah, I wouldn't be mad at Povetkin and Joshua fight. I understand the business. You know, I know Joshua, you don't want to fight Wilder right now. You know, it don't make business sense. Or, you know, it ain't what he wanted to do. You know, I knew that from day one, so I came to grips with it. You know, the risk doesn't match the reward right now for Wilder. Wilder got to continue to build itself up. And that's just Joshua's stance on that. But Povetkin, he can't run a high from Povetkin. Povetkin is the mandatory. So you're going to have to fight Povetkin at some point and continue to pay him off. And at 36 years old, it's going to take a big money grip to pay Povetkin off. You know, this is his shot to shine. And he came up short versus Vladimir Klitschko. He going to want to redeem himself versus Anthony Joshua. Not only redeem himself in his boxing legacy in the ring, but redeem himself from the PD allegations, which were true. He got popped twice, and show the boxing fans and show the world that you know, he don't need the PEDs to beat Anthony Joshua, beat any other world champion. Now Jarrell Big Baby Miller, you know, possibly Joshua will come to the States. I think that's where it stops at. I don't like the rumor of that. You know, because Big Baby Miller ain't going to UK, and I don't see Anthony Joshua coming to Brooklyn to fight him. You know, Brooklyn will be a good fight for Joshua. It's a lot of, you know, black people that come out to Brooklyn to support the fights. I think the streets in the borough of Brooklyn and the whole city of Brooklyn will get behind Jarrell Miller and the Anthony Joshua fight. I think he had to support his people, unlike that he did with Danny Jacobs this past weekend at the Barclays Center. I think the Barclays Centers will come out to see Anthony Joshua, but I don't think Anthony Joshua's ready for the Barclays Centers. I'm going to just say that right now. I think he's comfortable fighting in New York, and I think if he fights Miller, that's a step in the right direction to fighting Wilder next in the United States. Because if you fight Miller, that means he got to be setting something up to come to the United States. You know, because why are you going to just fight in the U.S. when you could have just fought Povetkin, then you got to pay Povetkin step-aside money. So it makes more sense. If you're going to fight Miller first and then get ready for Wilder that way, get acclimated to the States, get acclimated to the town, get acclimated to the area, he going to find out that, you know, fighting in U.S. venues is different. The energy is different. The crowd is different because the crowd pays more money. The crowd are probably more knowledgeable than those social Anthony Joshua fans that just come to drink and just enjoy the entertainment in the ring walk over in the UK, from what I understand. And these come straight from UK people, you know, mouth. You know, it's a whole different type of energy, and I can attest to it at the Barclays Center. Totally different type of energy and vibe. It's a great venue. You know, if he feel comfortable in Madison Square Garden, Vegas, California, they're all excellent venues. You know, and at the end of the day, he was trying to run from fighting in the United States. That's why I don't feel like, you know, Jarrell Miller has a hell of a shot at getting this fight. You know, he might not look good, but I say what's in his favor is the simple fact he can't punch. And a lot of his punching power woes is due to technique and fundamentals and not turning over his hands and not really turning his hip and generating the power from the floor up. He slaps like a kickboxer, and he used to be a kickboxer. Okay, and that's what it was. I mean, that's what it is. But I say the reason why all these guys have a shot, including Miller and Povetkin, you know, for real, is because, you know, they all can punch a little bit. Except for Miller. I'm going to tell you why Miller. Because Josh was very vulnerable to the chin, and Parker hit him with a good body shot. Every time Parker exchanged in that fight, he kind of touched Anthony Joshua's jaw. His whole body would move. I think Miller would have enough power with that straight right hand, jab straight right hand, because that's one shot that he steps into to hurt Anthony Joshua. I think his body work can hurt Anthony Joshua. I think Joshua isn't the biggest puncher, and I think Miller might have fought some punchers that comparable to Joshua. And if Miller could take Joshua's punch and push the pace like he does, he might have a chance versus Joshua. Povetkin, he's shown that he got some power versus David Price, even though Price have the chin of a Tyler. You know, he's still powerful. He's still a strong guy. He might be older, but I think he could hit Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua there to be hit. And I haven't seen any improvements in a long time from Anthony Joshua. That head sits in the middle, and Povetkin will know what to do with that. Povetkin was an Olympian, right? You know, Povetkin is a tough fight for anybody if he's clean. And if he can operate as a clean fighter as he did when he was a dirty fighter, he gets some of that back. You know, Wilder obviously got a more than a puncher's chance in my opinion. You know, he got speed, power advantage, quickness advantage. He got a good jab. He got height. He know how to use his height. You know, they all difficult fights for Anthony Joshua. And I respect him for taking each one of these fights, especially potentially going over to the United States versus Miller and Deontay Wilder. And at the end of the day, he does have a mandatory in Povetkin. And if that's what he chooses to do, who am I to tell this guy not to do it? You know, I'm done trying to, you know, speak on here and say what this guy should and shouldn't do. At the end of the day, he know what he should and shouldn't do. He got a plan. He already know his next move. Trust me. It ain't going to take him 2 to 3 weeks or 7 to 10 days as they reporting for him to find his next fight. They already know what they want to do. I'm pretty sure they got an offer on the table. They're going to fight where they're going to fight at. And it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to change. They want to fight Povetkin. It's going to be in the UK. Povetkin can hold the street dreams for fighting in Russia. Joshua ain't going over there. You know, and, you know, for Joshua, you want to fight Miller, he ain't coming to the UK. You're going to have to come to Brooklyn. And also, you know, Miller, you know, Wilder gave him a $50 million offer. Apparently, they didn't see the contract. They didn't like, or they didn't, you know, really look into the offer. Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, Anthony Joshua. But allegedly, well, no, not allegedly, they said they countered the offer. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. The odd men out are Miller and Wilder, in my opinion. I think he's going to choose Povetkin. I said that from day one. And I think Wilder going to fight Brazil. And I don't know who Miller going to fight. Now, let's see Miller fight Stavern. Somebody continue to step up. Trevor Bryan. Somebody like that. But that's just how I feel, though. And a lot of people won't agree. And they say, AJ ain't scared of this. That motherfucker's scared of Wilder. He ain't going down that route right now. But But don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. We on Facebook. And we everywhere dropping that boxing knowledge. Appreciate it. You know, smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button. Share the videos. And tell somebody, man, I definitely appreciate the little movement we got going on. And I stay consistent kicking that real trail boxing talk. Y'all know what it is. It's TBC and more. We out.